Good morning. Welcome to this devotion. I'm George Fuller, the pastor at Wendell Christian Church, and we're glad that you are here, either live with us now or watching it later. I pray that you would enter into this time as we hope it is for all of us, a time to be encouraged, a time to be present and work deeper into and participate more in a relationship with Jesus Christ, and being able to know that and to live in that is part of what we're going to be talking about today. I want to read the passage out of John chapter 15, beginning with verse 12, and we're talking about being the friends of God. Jesus said, "My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. If you obey my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. And you are my friends, if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know what his master's business is. Instead, I've called you friends, for everything I learned from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me. I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will last. Then the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. And this is my command: love each other." Now, that passage is certainly worth more than just one morning's devotion, but don't miss the flow of that entire section of chapter 15 in John. These words that the disciples chose to remember and record. Out of all the things that Jesus said, this is among the few that were written down. So many passed along, so few written down. But we can see why. It's incredibly good news to know you're the friend of God when you grew up in a tradition where only one person, one time a year, after preparing themselves intensely, could walk into the full presence of God in the part of the temple called the Holy of Holies. And to move from God being so feared, so separate from us, so having a version of holiness which is not just particularly set apart to do what is ours to do, which is holy, but a God who's set apart as in somewhere else. And we must do the right thing for God to come and enter into our world and be with us and be for us, not against us. And to be in a world where God was so far and so hard to please, to hear these verses would be among those you would remember, would be among those that redefined, changed your entire life. God's not distant. God isn't demanding. You didn't choose God. God chose you. God chose me. God chose us. And so this passage, we can look at again next week. But in the beginning of this, just for today, I hope that we can each breathe deeply, settle into the reality of what we've just read, the words Jesus spoke, and know that we are friends of God, friends of Christ, that we have the Spirit of Christ in us, that we are loved. It's there. We were first loved. Now we are to know love and share love. We are the friends of Jesus. And he's clear, there's lots to learn. Everything I've received from the Father, I'm going to pass on to you. And he says at another place in the Gospel of John that it's good I leave you because the Spirit will guide you into all truth. And it's certainly the experience of humanity since the first century of this era that we've learned a lot. And when we have learned with the love of God guiding us, the things we learn bond us together in love. The things we use and the power that we have becomes the servant of others, and we become the lovers of our neighbors and ourselves and even our enemies, because that's what Jesus did. We are fulfilled as his friends, just like he said, you are my friends when you do what I command. That's not a demand to meet expectations to be loved. That is demonstrating that we have indeed become chosen to be friends of Jesus. I remember walking onto the campus of each school when I was the new kid in town. And one of the biggest questions I had in my mind was who would be my friend? Who would accept me? Who would be with me in my experience? And when you walk into a school, you're going to spend a lot of time there with those people. That is going to be your world for a big chunk of 5 days a week. And in our lives, the question we might be wondering is who will be our friend? And we have an answer that is the best answer humans can hear. The Lord, the one who made you. The Lord, the one who is incarnate and lived and died and rose from the dead. The Spirit of that one Lord loves you, loves me, loves us. And we are his friends. We are the friends of God. So that enables us, that invites us, that calls us to be his friends in the way that we live. And so we love one another. I love you, you love me, and we become the embodiment of the opportunity for the moment and expression of the love of God. And that is why Jesus spoke these words, because that's what he was doing. That's what we are part of. That is who we are. We are the objects of God's love, invited to know that, to live that, to share that. And I pray that this day would be one day, or at least some moments within this day, where you are very aware that you are the friend of Christ, that you are very aware and very secure in that love, so that you might be willing to love yourself and love the people who enter your life on this day. And maybe they'll experience, even if you don't say the words, they'll experience that they've been with someone, and that someone was Jesus, because of how Jesus took shape in us. May that be so in us and among us. Amen.